In session 1, we talked about the benefits of investing in the stock market. That's where most people have their best opportunity to build a solid retirement nest egg. In session 2, we talked about the risks of investing and how to manage them. We covered inflation, longevity, as well as the risks of getting in your own way. But there's one more danger to watch out for: the risk that Uncle Sam will end up with a large share of your investing gains. Fortunately, there are steps you can take to manage that risk as well, and they make a big difference in how much money you end up with. That's what this session is all about.
As Benjamin Franklin noted, paying taxes is one of life's few certainties. When you buy something, you owe sales tax. Own a home, you'll owe property tax. And when you earn money, you'll owe income tax. The Bible reminds us of our responsibilities here when it says, "Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor." So we're not trying to get out of the taxes we legitimately owe, but we don't want to pay more than we have to either. When it comes to investing, choosing the right type of investment account is the key to minimizing the taxes you'll pay. Specifically, I'm talking about tax-advantaged retirement accounts, such as a 401k plan at work or an individual retirement account or IRA. Note that these accounts are not investments themselves. Rather, the stocks, bonds, and mutual funds you own within these accounts are the investments. A 401k or IRA is just the vehicle through which you invest. Think of them as the containers or wrappers that you keep your investments in. IRAs and 401k plans offer some really important tax benefits, which we'll get into shortly. And by the way, whenever I talk about a 401k plan in this session, I'm also talking about the close cousins of the 401k, 403b and 457 plans, as well as the thrift savings plan for government employees. The rules and benefits are similar across all of these plans. So if your workplace retirement plan goes by one of those other labels, when I say 401k plan, know that I'm talking about your plan as well. The first key decision you need to make is which vehicle is best for you, a 401k plan or an IRA. To help you decide, let's walk through a few scenarios. First, let's start with the obvious. Do you even have access to a 401k plan where you work? If not, your decision's easy. An IRA is for you. If your workplace doesn't offer a retirement plan, you're eligible to make tax-advantaged contributions to an IRA no matter how much you earn. But assuming you do have access to a 401k plan, the question then is whether you should use that for your investing or if you should use an IRA instead. Or maybe some combination of both the 401k and an IRA. To figure this out, we start with an important question. If your employer offers to match some of the money you contribute, that's such a good deal, it makes the decision easy. Start with the 401k plan. Here's how a fairly common matching arrangement works. For every dollar you contribute to your 401k, up to a certain percentage of your salary, like 6%, your employer will also contribute $1. So for example, let's say you make $50,000 a year. If you contribute 6% of your salary, that's $3,000. And your employer will add another $3,000 in matching contributions. That's an immediate, guaranteed 100% return on your money. Even if your employer contributes less, say 25 or 50 cents for every dollar you contribute, that's still a great benefit, a guaranteed 25 or 50% return. So if your employer offers a match, at the very least, Try to invest as much as is needed to get the full match. Investing enough to earn the full match from your employer is a great starting point. However, you'll probably need to invest more than that in order to meet your retirement goals. So the next question is whether you should make those additional contributions beyond your 401k matching amount to your 401k plan or use an IRA instead. Once again, we start with a simple question. Are you even allowed to contribute to a tax-advantaged IRA? If you have access to a 401k plan, your income level determines whether you can also make tax-advantaged investments through an IRA. There's more information about this in your discussion guide. Now, if you're not eligible for an IRA, then your only choice for further tax-advantaged investing is to keep making additional contributions to your 401k plan. But if you are eligible for an IRA, the key factor then becomes whether you're happy with the investment choices that are available through your 401k. If you are, keep things simple, invest more there. Unfortunately, the investment options in many workplace retirement plans are pretty limited. So if you're not happy with those options, if they prevent you from investing the way you'd like to, you should still invest enough in your 401k to get the full match. But beyond that point, we recommend shifting any further contributions to an IRA. With an IRA, your investment choices are virtually unlimited. Now, IRAs have maximums on how much you can contribute each year. If you max out your IRA contributions and still want to invest more, at that point you can shift back to your 401k and contribute more over there. Now let's look at another scenario. What if your employer doesn't offer a match on contributions made to your 401k? Should you still use your company's plan, or should you use an IRA instead? In this situation, a 401k plan becomes much less attractive. As I said earlier, 401k investment options are typically pretty limited. So if you're eligible for an IRA, and especially if you want to invest in options beyond your 401k plan's investment menu, an IRA is likely going to be your best choice. The maximum you're allowed to contribute to an IRA each year is lower than the maximum you can put into a 401k, but keep this in mind. If you're married, both you and your spouse can likely open separate IRAs, effectively doubling the contribution limit. And of course, if you max out these limits with your IRAs, you can always go back to your 401k plan at that point and make more contributions. So that's how to figure out which account to choose, a 401k, an IRA, or both. Your second key decision is which type of IRA or 401k to utilize. IRAs come in two main varieties, traditional and Roth, and many 401k plans also provide the same choice. The main difference between traditional and Roth is when you pay your taxes. With a traditional plan, you get a tax benefit right away on the money you contribute. So if you make $50,000 and contribute $5,000, your taxable income for the year is immediately reduced to $45,000. That lowers your tax bill right now, which frees up some monthly cash flow. With less money going to your current income taxes, you've got more money available to save for other goals or to spend. With a traditional IRA or 401k, any investment gains you earn are tax deferred. That means you won't owe any taxes on these earnings until you retire. But once you take money out in retirement, you'll owe income taxes on all of it, both the initial contributions and the earnings. So to recap, with a traditional IRA or 401k, you get an immediate tax deduction for any money you contribute, but you'll owe income taxes on both the contributions and any gains you've earned when you withdraw the money during your retirement. With a Roth IRA or 401k, the taxes work the other way around. You get no immediate tax benefit for the money you contribute. So again, let's say you make $50,000 and contribute $5,000 to a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k. Your taxable income is still the full $50,000. However, because you've already paid tax on the money you contributed to a Roth, you won't owe tax on that money again in retirement. You also won't owe tax on any earnings that accumulate within a Roth IRA or 401k. That's because Roth accounts aren't just tax deferred, they're tax free, as long as you wait until retirement to withdraw the money. So which is best, traditional or Roth? Ideally, you'd prefer to pay your taxes when you're in the lowest possible tax bracket. So to come up with a perfect answer, you'd have to know not just your current tax bracket, but what tax bracket you'll be in when you retire. Since for many investors that's impossible to know, here's a general guideline. If you're fairly young and in the early stages of your career, chances are your income is relatively low, and so is your tax bracket. So a Roth IRA or 401k probably makes the most sense. You won't get an immediate tax break for the money you contribute now, but years down the road, all of the money in the account, including all of your investing gains, will be available to you completely tax-free. Roth IRAs also have some other advantages that are described in your discussion guide. On the other hand, the closer you are to retirement age, the more a traditional IRA or 401k may make sense. If you're currently earning a high income, you may be in a higher tax bracket now than you will be when you retire. So it may make more sense to take the tax deduction now and pay income taxes at a lower tax rate when you withdraw money from your traditional IRA or 401k in retirement. It's worth noting the traditional versus Roth decision doesn't necessarily have to be either or. You can contribute some money to a traditional IRA and some to a Roth. Many 401k plans allow for this as well. Your combined contribution limits are the same as if you use just one type of account, but you can spread your contributions across both types. By dividing your contributions between a traditional account and a Roth account, you're diversifying your tax strategy a bit. It's often impossible to know for sure whether you'll be in a higher or lower tax bracket when you retire, or how the tax laws may change. So investing some money in each type of plan hedges your risk a bit. In your discussion guide, you'll find additional resources that can help you make informed decisions about which types of accounts make the most sense in your situation. A couple of final points about 401k plans and IRAs. First, always remember why you're using these accounts in the first place. These accounts are designed to save for your later years, retirement. It's important to keep that in mind because it's fairly easy to get your hands on the money in these accounts well before retirement. For example, with most 401k plans, you can borrow against your balance, usually at a very low interest rate. But there are big problems with doing that. First, when you take money out of your plan and spend it, it's not in your plan accumulating additional earnings for you. And second, if you leave your employer, whether by your choice or your employer's choice, you'll have to repay the entire loan amount, often within a relatively short amount of time. That can be potentially devastating if you've just lost your job. On the IRA side, Roth IRAs allow you to take out your contributions anytime for any purpose without taxes or penalties. And you can withdraw earnings under certain circumstances and after a certain amount of time. You can also take money out of a traditional IRA if you're willing to pay taxes and a 10% penalty. Our advice: try not to do any of these things. Taking your money out of a retirement account before retirement defeats the purpose. As we learned in session 1, time is a crucially important factor in investing. Consider money invested for your later years to be untouchable. Leave it alone so it can compound for you. And one last point on this subject. When you leave your employer, whether you're taking a job somewhere else or you're retiring, if you have money in your workplace retirement plan, you'll need to decide what to do with it. You may be able to leave it where it is. You may also be allowed to roll it into a plan offered by your new employer, or you can roll it into an IRA. We think that rolling the money into an IRA is usually the best option. That'll give you the greatest range of investing options, often with the lowest fees. But always have the investment firm you're moving the money to handle the rollover paperwork for you to avoid any tax issues. So that's how to determine which type of account is best to use for your investing. In the next and final session, we'll answer the question that's probably been on your mind since the beginning of this study. What exactly should you invest in?